Hey y'all, today I'm doing a review on the Tension 2 board done by Tension Climbing. So when I was down in Tampa Bay for Christmas, I got the opportunity to climb at Vertical Ventures, where they just had a brand new Tension 2 board put up by one of their fellow coaches who happens to be a tension athlete. So I decided to try it out and do a quick little review. Full disclosure, Tension board did not contact me about doing a review. I just happened to be in town in St. Pete, and I just wanted to kind of get a good review of it and see what it was, and then kind of look at some of the actual adaptive facts of it, whether or not it's going to be good for paraclimbers of different categories, and be good in general for my community. Part of this review will involve a few different mentions of certain categories and how I see it working for part of the paraclimbing community. So the old Tension board only had wood holds. The new version has a mixture of dual text and wood holds, which makes a very interesting combination. While wood holds typically tend to feel a little bit better on the skin in most circumstances, dual text holds either you slip right off or they just tear up your skin. So it really makes for an interesting combination when trying to climb different types of routes. And it's also a different combination of like feeling like you're on a slippery hold and then all of a sudden feeling like you're fine. So it definitely feels different than the previous iterations. One of the big differences with the Tension 2 is that the lights are actually in the middle of the light. It looks like they took like part of the bolt hold and actually just put an electric light on. I don't know exactly how they're doing it, but it really makes it easier to see the holds. I feel like for some of my friends that have visual impairments, that this is actually going to be a better adaptation, and it makes it a little bit easier. This way you don't actually lose track of the light when trying to look underneath it like some of the other boards that we're so used to, like the Moon board and previous iterations of the Tension board. So I think this is an actual big improvement on what Tension has done with their setup. The other big difference is I do think the new version of the Tension 2, or at least the hold set that Vertical Ventures had, is a little more accessible for newer and younger climbers. The Tension board was set up to be a systems board, so you have the same moves on the left as you do on the right. So I do think this mirrored setup with the easier holds and the more accessibility is going to kind of create a new way of gyms helping people learn how to climb and train them with a little more technique rather than trying to get on a moon board. It definitely brings in a younger crowd to using systems boards and some of these training boards that we do have available. So I do think Tension did a really great job of making their board a little more accessible for our beginner and younger climbers. The other big thing with the Tension 2 that I noticed was there were more underclings. For someone like me with spina bifida or someone with a lower impairment, I feel like the board would be a little harder to train on, but really good at the lower angles. That way you could actually learn how to stand up into underclings. I definitely took some time to really try out some of those newer underclings and really try and work both sides. My affected side is my right side, so I definitely had a harder time trying to stand up into climbs with my right than I did with my left. But overall, I do think it is a great way to train those types of movements. One of the things I didn't like about the Tension 2 was the start feet. The start feet were either wooden slopey holds or dual text really thin holds. It made it really hard to start a lot of different problems and really required you to put some tension in the feet. Where someone like me that does have lower extremity issues and my affected sides are in my lower half of my body, it did make it a little hard to actually climb some of them. So it was a little more interesting. The Tension 2 that I climbed on was at Vertical Ventures. That board could only be lowered down to about 35 degrees due to their limitations with their padding system right now in their training room. That was fine. It still had plenty of grades and plenty of different climbs for me to climb on. It was definitely a great opportunity. I want to thank Vertical Ventures for letting me come in and film a little bit while I was in town. Final thoughts, I think the Tension 2 is a much more improved version of their older board. I think the screw-on holds that they're using is going to be great, and the combination of the wood and dual text is definitely really awesome. It's definitely going to really broaden people's eyes on how to grab those dual texture holds if they're getting ready for comps or wanting to climb more in the gym. And it's also going to give people more opportunities to protect their skin with the wood holds. Now, I do think that some of the wood holds and some of the dual text holds aren't going to be friendly to a degree for people that have some lower extremity issues, and then also some amputees of the upper extremities. I do feel like if you don't tape, or you just kind of use your nub a little bit on some of those dual texts, you're going to get some skin coming off pretty easy, and just be cautious of that. Otherwise, I think the Tension 2 is widely a bigger improvement. I do think the way they're doing their light up system now is going to help a lot of people that are visually impaired but can see some light see the problem a little bit better. Overall, would I use the Tension 2 regularly in my training routine? Probably. I do like that systematic mirrored problem setting that they are so famous of doing, and I really think that's a very useful tool, especially with people that have a stronger side or a weaker side. Whether or not your affected limb is on one side, you can definitely work the same types of problems at different angles and really kind of try and lessen the gap in the difference between your effective and non-effective side, or even working around different types of beta to really kind of focus in on some of that training aspect and figuring out how to use your body differently. If you like that content, please hit like and subscribe for more paraclimbing and adventures that I'm doing. And please leave something in the comments that you would like to see next, whether it's a review of a different board or a review of something new. I'm always willing to go out and try out different training techniques and different training tools. So if you want to see more reviews like this, whether or not it's a good thing for the paraclimbing community or whether it's not a paraclimbing thing and you want to see a review of something else, please let me know. I'll go out and do a review and see what we can do with some of these new training tools that are coming out for climbing. So, hope y'all have a good day. Bye.